Some men vanish from memory, others stay forever. The reason? These 6 rare traits. They don't try hard, they don't impress, they don't chase. Women never forget them, not because of how they looked, but because of what they embodied. Comment: I attract, not chase. Number 1. Never chases attention. You chase her attention and you instantly lose your value, because attention given freely is attention devalued. And the man who needs to be seen is the man who disappears the fastest, because no one remembers the one who begged to be noticed. They remember the one who was too focused on his life to even notice if someone noticed him. And yet this is the trap many fall into, checking the phone every 5 minutes, scanning for signs, interpreting silence as rejection, thinking a delay in her reply means something about your worth. When the truth is that your entire life has been placed on hold, waiting for crumbs from someone who hasn't earned a seat at your table, and you know this deep down. You know that your time is slipping, your energy leaking, your confidence dependent on how someone else sees you, and yet you keep doing it, because the emptiness inside begs for any distraction. But it's in that distraction that you disappear, because if your whole identity is built around being chosen, then who are you when you're ignored? And this is where most men collapse. They shrink, they overthink, they start apologizing for things they didn't even do, just to maintain proximity to someone who doesn't even respect them. And the worst part is, you justify it. You convince yourself that if you just try harder, if you're just more patient, more available, more kind, maybe this time it will work, but it never does, because no one values what's always around. No one chases what's already chasing them. And the solution isn't to play games or pretend. The solution is to stop giving your attention to people who haven't earned it, to stop performing for validation and start living for your own standards, because the man who builds his life around attention becomes invisible the moment it's not given, but the man who builds his life around purpose becomes magnetic whether he's seen or not. So every time you're tempted to send that text, to prove your worth, to beg for approval, remember that the version of you she'll never forget isn't the one who tried the hardest. It's the one who needed her the least. And that truth cuts, because it forces you to face how often you've traded your dignity for connection, how often you've confused availability with strength, when in reality she's testing to see if you'll bend, and the more you bend, the less she sees you as a man, and the more she sees you as an option, a backup plan, a placeholder, until something more dominant comes along. And it's not because she's cruel or cold, it's because you trained her to treat you like an afterthought by never making yourself the main character in your own story. And the truth most men won't admit is that their entire self-worth hinges on being liked, on being wanted, and that's why they fall apart when they're not. But you were not born to beg. You were born to build, to move in silence, to be so consumed by your own progress that whether or not someone validates you becomes irrelevant. Because true power is when you can walk into a room and not need anyone in it to see you, and that energy speaks louder than anything you could say. That energy is what stays in her mind long after you're gone, not because you convinced her to care, but because you never gave her the chance to think you needed her care in the first place. And if you truly want to be remembered, stop performing and start becoming. Stop chasing people and start chasing excellence. Stop trying to be chosen and start choosing your direction. Because the man who doesn't chase anything other than discipline, clarity, and growth becomes unforgettable not for what he does, but for who he becomes in the silence of his own focus. And if you're ready to finally become that man, not tomorrow, not next year, but right now, then it's time you open the Stoic Relationship Blueprint, a book written for the man who's tired of being forgotten, tired of overgiving, tired of shrinking just to be seen. And this isn't just a book, it's a foundation, a weapon, a new direction rooted in timeless Stoic principles that will immediately shift the way you think, lead, and connect. And now you don't even have to sit down to read it, because the audiobook version is officially available, so you can absorb life-changing insight while walking, training, working, or moving through your day. And the best part, once it's yours forever. No expiration, just permanent access to the wisdom you wish you had years ago. So the real question is this: how many more months will you keep repeating cycles you know are breaking you, when one decision can give you the mindset that never gets forgotten? The link is in the comments. Number 2, controls his emotions. If you let your emotions dictate your actions, you are no longer in control of your life, but a slave to every trigger, every rejection, every eye roll, every delay in response becomes a crisis, every opinion becomes an attack, and every challenge becomes a collapse. And the truth is, most people don't respect emotional instability, no matter how justified it feels to you. Because when you explode at a text, when you cry for attention, when you argue to be heard, when you lash out because you feel unseen, all you show is that your strength is a performance and your discipline is situational, and that's why you're forgotten, because people remember how you made them feel. And if all you brought was volatility and insecurity, they will forget your face and remember only the weight of your reactions. And what's worse is that you justify it in your mind by saying you're just being real. But there's nothing real about letting external events drag you up and down like a puppet, because real is what stays centered, no matter the emotion. And the reason she pulls away is not because you're not enough, but because you lose control the moment she tests you. And she will test you, not out of malice, but to see if your calm is real or just another mask that falls when challenged. And most don't pass this test because they were never taught how to delay emotion, how to let tension pass without becoming it, how to receive chaos without amplifying it, and instead they react, over-explain, demand, beg, plead, defend, all of which makes them forgettable because true presence doesn't flinch, doesn't need to be understood in the moment, doesn't collapse under pressure. And if you think yelling proves strength, you've already lost, because nothing is more powerful than staying composed while others fall apart. And if you want to become this man, start with this. When you feel disrespected, pause, not to suppress it, but to observe it. Sit with it until it no longer controls you. Speak only when your voice serves your power, not your pain. Don't explain to people who twist your clarity into confusion. Don't respond to nonsense just to feel heard. Don't chase emotional resolution with those who thrive on keeping you unbalanced. Learn to keep your own peace sacred by not handing it out to anyone who knows how to provoke you, because every time you lose your cool, you lose a piece of your credibility. And once credibility is gone, everything else follows. And the hardest truth is that you trained people how to treat you by how you reacted. And if they see they can pull you emotionally, they know they control you quietly. And that's the reality you need to face before you start changing it. Because nothing shifts until you decide that no one gets access to your energy unless they've earned your stability. And this means walking away mid-conversation if needed, letting people misunderstand you without chasing correction, staying still when everything in you wants to yell, and above all, never letting someone else's chaos become your character. Because your calm is not for performance, it is for protection. And the more you live from that space, the more unforgettable you become. Not because you forced respect, but because you showed you didn't need approval to stay strong. And that's what they remember. Not the words you said, but the restraint you held. Not the emotions you spilled, but the power you protected. Not the drama you avoided, but the dignity you preserved. And from this moment on, you stop being the man who explains himself to people who don't listen. You stop being the one who escalates to feel powerful. You stop being the one who collapses under pressure, and you start becoming the man who walks through tension with stillness so loud they can't ignore you. Number 3, values his purpose. When you center your life around someone else, you lose the very thing that makes you valuable. And the tragedy is, most people don't even notice it happening, because it feels like love, but it's really self-abandonment dressed in devotion. And this is where most men destroy their potential, because they replace their mission with her attention. And the moment she becomes the reason you wake up is the moment you stop rising, because your path is no longer built on conviction, but on the hope that she approves. And the harsh truth is, no one respects a man who has nothing going for him outside of a relationship. Because when everything you do is to impress her, you become predictable. And when you're predictable, you're boring. And when you're boring, you're replaceable. And the world does not reward the man who sacrifices himself to be liked. It rewards the one who builds, regardless of who claps. And this is what makes you unforgettable. Not that you made her feel special, but that you made her realize she couldn't distract you from where you were going, because your vision was bigger than any emotion. And this is rare today, because most men are starving for connection. So they abandon direction, they quit their goals, they compromise their values just to stay close to someone who doesn't even respect the version of them that throws it all away for temporary affection. But what she actually respects is discipline. What she watches quietly is whether you change your pace when she walks in. And the one who doesn't bend, doesn't explain, and doesn't rearrange his path to match her mood becomes impossible to forget. Not because he forced her attention, but because he earned her curiosity. And if you want to become this kind of man, it starts with structure. And structure means you don't wake up wondering how she feels today. You wake up knowing what needs to be done. You don't abandon your training to take a call. You don't miss your targets to chase approval. You don't skip your process to manage someone else's emotion. Because when you give your days away, you're giving away the only thing that builds legacy. And the truth is, she's testing this constantly, not with words, but with behavior, seeing if you'll pause your growth to entertain her doubt. And the moment you do, she loses respect and doesn't even know why, because the energy of a man who folds is forgettable. But the energy of a man who moves regardless is rare and magnetic. And if you've been the kind who adjusts his entire identity to be wanted, you already know how empty it feels, because no matter how much you give, it's never enough. And the worst part is, you resent yourself for losing momentum, and you resent her for watching you decline. But the real issue is, you never chose purpose over comfort. And purpose always demands that you let go of the need to be understood in order to become respected. And this means you don't share your goals with people who haven't earned your trust. You don't ask for feedback from people who aren't building anything. You don't slow down for anyone who doesn't bring fuel. And this kind of intensity makes you unforgettable, not because of who you're trying to impress, but because of who you refuse to become again. And if you've ever felt the pain of being invisible in someone's eyes, it's likely because you lost your focus, trying to become their source of happiness, instead of building a life they'd be honored to be part of. And the only way out of that cycle is to return to yourself, rebuild your habits, protect your time, and fall in love with repetition. Because repetition builds evidence, and evidence builds confidence, and confidence built from process. Not praise is the kind that cannot be shaken. And when she sees you moving with clarity, without her validation, without needing to be seen or celebrated or rescued, she will remember you forever, because people don't forget the ones who built with consistency when they could have begged for attention instead. So write this down: today's structure over spontaneity, discipline over distraction, legacy over likability. Because when you live like that, she either respects it or leaves, and either way, you win. Number 4, knows when to walk away. You stay too long and you lose yourself, because the longer you tolerate disrespect, the more you teach them that you'll accept it. And the truth is, most men don't walk away because they're strong. They stay because they're weak and scared and addicted to potential, and the idea that maybe if they do more or give more or prove themselves again, it'll finally be enough, but it never is. And deep down, you know that the longer you stay where you're not respected, the more you shrink and forget who you were before them. And what makes it worse is that the longer you stay, the harder it gets to leave, because your identity starts to revolve around fixing a connection that never truly valued you in the first place. And this is where most break down. They think walking away is losing, but it's actually the first win. You get back your power, your voice, your peace. And if you want to be unforgettable, stop clinging to places you're clearly being pushed out of, because the man who walks away not with bitterness but with full clarity that his value isn't up for discussion becomes rare. And that rarity is what she'll never forget. Not because you chased her, not because you gave her closure, but because you didn't need any of it to move forward. And what keeps you trapped is the illusion of what could be. But real power is when you see things exactly as they are and still choose yourself. And if you want to start today, stop waiting for them to change. Stop hoping they'll see your worth. Stop accepting half love and start telling yourself the truth. And the truth is, if they valued you, they wouldn't put you in a position to beg for basic decency. And no, it's not your job to teach someone how to treat you, because the more you explain, the less they listen, and the less they listen, the more you betray yourself. Trying to be heard and walking away isn't about giving up. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, your soul, and your future. And if you've ever stayed in a situation past its expiration date, you know the damage it does, how it eats at your self-esteem, how it clouds your decisions, how it makes you reactive, desperate, smaller than you were born to be. And the longer you delay, the worse it gets, because the mind starts to normalize disrespect. And before you know it, you're justifying pain and calling it love. And this is why people forget you, because you forget yourself. And the only way to break that cycle is to make the decision. You've avoided the one where you finally say enough. The one where you stop managing their reactions and start managing your standards. The one where you stop begging and start walking. And if it scares you, good, that means it matters. Because every time you walk away from what insults your worth, you walk closer to what actually honors it. And that's the difference between being remembered and being recycled. And if you want to be unforgettable, walk away the first time they show you they don't value you, not after the second chance, not after the apology that fixes nothing but the first time, because the first time tells you everything, and your job is to trust yourself more than you trust their words. And it's not about punishing them, it's about protecting you. And if you think silence will make them see your worth, you've already lost, because your presence is too valuable to be reduced to background noise in someone else's life. And when you walk, not with rage but with resolution, you don't need to explain your absence. It explains itself, because peace is loud, and they'll hear it in the gap. Your energy once filled, and if they ever remember you, it won't be because you stayed, it'll be because you left. Number 5, loves with boundaries. When you love without boundaries, you turn love into self-destruction, because without boundaries there is no self to protect, and most people confuse sacrifice with love and lose their entire identity trying to keep someone happy who only ever respected what they couldn't control. And the problem is, you think giving more will make you worthy, when in reality it only makes you forgettable, because no one values what's handed to them without effort. And the more you give without standard, the more they test how far you'll go, until one day you realize you've taught them that your love has no limits and no value. And you know this because you've been walked over while being kind. You've been used while being generous. You've been ignored while being consistent. And you still told yourself it was love. But love without respect isn't love. It's codependency. And the longer you stay in it, the more you dissolve into someone they don't even recognize. And this is why people forget you. Not because you weren't kind, but because you had no edge, no frame, no line. They couldn't cross, and people remember what they can't manipulate, not what they can consume. And the sad part is, you know the exact moment it shifted, when they stopped appreciating your effort and started expecting it. And instead of adjusting, you kept overcompensating, hoping they'd see your worth if you just tried harder. But effort without self-respect becomes emotional labor, and that labor never gets you the love you're craving. It gets you drained, because when you teach someone that your time has no cost, they spend it like it means nothing. And the only way out is to build the wall you were scared to build, not to keep love out, but to keep your dignity in. And it starts small by saying no, when you usually say yes, by pulling back, when you usually chase, by ending conversations when they become abusive, instead of trying to fix them by deciding that peace matters more than proximity. And if you're afraid they'll leave when you do this, you've already lost. Because anyone who only stays when they can control you was never there for the real you. And this is the difference between being wanted and being respected, and you know it in your gut. Because the people who respected you the most were the ones you never had to overextend for. And if you want to be unforgettable, stop trying to be liked and start being clear, because clarity creates pressure, and that pressure reveals truth. And the truth is, most people will leave when they can't take advantage of you. And that's exactly what you want, because when they go, they make space for people who want you, not for your weakness, but for your wholeness. And the path to this kind of self-love is through repeated action, not affirmations. You need to act like someone who respects themselves, even when it feels unfamiliar, even when it feels selfish, even when it feels like rejection. And the more you do it, the more you remember what it's like to be free. And when you become free, your energy shifts and people feel it, and they either rise to meet you or fall away. And either way, you win, because love with boundaries is the only kind of love that lasts, because it doesn't require you to disappear to feel seen. It requires you to stand so strong in who you are that you teach others how to treat you without saying a word. And when you do that, you become unforgettable, not because you gave the most, but because you gave from a place that could never be emptied. Number 6. Let's go of grudges. Holding on to resentment doesn't make you powerful, it makes you heavy, and the more you carry, the more you slow down, until one day you realize your entire identity has been built around pain. And the most dangerous part is that it feels righteous because you believe they owe you an apology, they owe you understanding, they owe you accountability. But the truth is, no one owes you anything. And waiting for someone to fix what they broke inside of you is the surest way to stay broken. And the reason you can't move forward is because you're still replaying the betrayal, as if memorizing the wound will protect you from being hurt again. But all it does is trap you in cycles of bitterness where your growth is delayed by a memory and your power is outsourced to a person who already showed you who they are. And if you want to be unforgettable, you need to release not for them, but for you. Because letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. And the one who forgives silently without performing it for attention is the one who gains peace without asking permission. And the truth is, they may never apologize. They may never take accountability. They may never even admit what they did. And that's fine, because you don't need their regret to move forward. You need your decision. And if you're still holding on to what someone did to you, you're choosing to live in a moment that already ended. And the more you revisit that chapter, the less energy you have to write a better one. And if you're honest, you know that your bitterness hasn't protected you. It's only drained you, made you harder, colder, more reactive, less open. And the reality is, you can't build a strong life on a foundation of blame, because blame is rooted in powerlessness. And the only way you ever reclaim your strength is by saying, "This ends here," not because I'm fine with what happened, but because I'm done letting it define me. And you don't need to tell them you forgave them. You don't need to speak their name again. Your healing is private. Your freedom is internal, and that's what makes you different from the rest, because anyone can hold a grudge, but few can rise above it. Not because it didn't hurt, but because they refuse to be anchored to a pain that no longer deserves access to their mind. And when you stop letting your enemies live rent-free in your thoughts, you take back the space they were stealing from your peace. And no, you're not a doormat for letting go. You're a fortress, because you choose elevation over reaction, and that choice is unforgettable because it's rare. And if you want to feel light again, stop looking for closure in people who found comfort in your silence. Stop stalking their profiles. Stop checking if they miss you. Stop wondering if they regret it, and realize they've already shown you the truth. And the longer you chase justice, the further you get from joy. And what you don't realize is that your freedom begins the moment you stop needing them to understand, because you understand yourself. And that's more than enough. And the man who lives with peace, not because life was easy, but because he chose to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand him a bandage, is the man who becomes unforgettable, not because of how he reacted, but because of how he transcended. And that's your path now to rise without noise, to forgive, without permission, to evolve without delay, and to become so rooted in your future that your past loses its voice. They don't want you to hear this. They don't want you to think for yourself, to stop chasing, to start leading. They want you weak, reactive, begging for attention that never comes. But the truth is, once you shift, once you see yourself as the source, not the seeker, you never go back. That's why the Stoic relationship blueprint is dangerous to the systems that benefit from your confusion. It's not just a book, it's a blueprint for men who are done playing by rules that were never meant to serve them. It's filled with timeless Stoic principles that will transform your life immediately. And now, it's available in audiobook form, so you can absorb this mindset while walking, training, building. You'll own it forever. No one can take this knowledge from you. The link's in the comments. If you're ready, comment, "I claim my power." Like this video, subscribe, help more men escape the cycle and save themselves years of pain they were never meant to carry.